previously on this campaign, the party had made it to Murkvale, and they split up to go their separate ways, with Kaldreg, Angel, and I believe Yala heading to the bar to grab a couple drinks, while the rest of the party went off to go do some shopping. While Kaldreg, Angel, and Yala were at the bar, they tried out a few of the drinks, including some very powerful scorpion venom, which got both of them intoxicated to the point where they started sharing stories with each other before Kaldreg got a little too uncomfortable with Angel's pressing on it. The tree eventually also decided to take the drink from Kaldreg to keep him from getting drunk, wherein she stuck it in her tree hole and got drunk herself, and from there got comatose. The rest of the party showed up after a few hours, seemingly without grit. They said he was missing or gone, and you guys went ahead and got your rest for the evening. The next morning has come. Kaldreg, you have eaten your green eggs and ham from the wonderful cook, gotten yourself a drink for the morning, and people are splitting off to go their separate ways and go do their various shopping. So, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna go outside,
Right.
kind of take a deep breath and like check out this pretty crazy city. Though I imagine probably Kaldreg has probably kind of been to the city at some point in his life. Though he's so old, it's probably developed quite a bit over the years.
Roll me a D100.
E100. I don't get to use this one very often. So straight up 50? No, it's a 40.
40?
40.
40. So it's been 40 years since Kaldreg has visited Murkvale. There have been quite a few changes. The nest above him especially was not nearly as developed as it is now. It was in the very beginning stages. It's a little hard because it was so long ago, but you do recall seeing only the slightest of ropes and construction and whatnot above you. The two pyramids, same as always. They've always been there, and much of the city has remained the same. The newest thing that Kaldreg you do notice is now the shipping lanes, how they've been modified, where it used to be a system where they would have to take the ships down and actually lift them up, take them off of the water, and cart them back on land, and that was a very tedious system. Now they have set up, and you notice this on the way in, they have set up these teleportation systems that bring ships from the end of the river back to the beginning so they can cycle through the city.
That's so extra.
And this is between your last time being here and now. The populace that you notice around you, largely reptilian of all shapes and sizes, some amphibious creatures, some aquatic creatures. You look up, you see very many like aviary type creatures, bird folk and whatnot. The air is incredibly humid. You are out in the city. You see Vignora. She heads off with Sendra, and they go up into the nest. You lose sight of her after a minute or two. Nobody else has left the pub yet. What do you do?
I'm gonna probably kind of wander around the streets for a little bit. I'm looking for any kind of like plants, any kind of like apothecary botanist, something kind of a greenhouse or some kind of like
Are you going to interact with the locals and ask around to see if anybody knows something of the sort?
I would just walk around for a little bit until I saw somebody that might look like they actually know what I'm talking about.
Go ahead and roll me a investigation check while you are searching around the area.
I rolled a 12. It'll take me like 2 seconds to get it up.
A 12?
Yeah, let me see. I don't know if I have investigation at all.
Investigation plus 0. So yes, straight 12.
Yeah, so 12.
You're looking around. You don't find a shop. You do see at some point there is a lady, and she has actually a small little flower stand where she looks to be selling flowers, but it looks like she's just, decorative flowers. Do you go up and talk to her?
Yeah, I'm gonna go, "Oi, good morning, miss."
Good morning to you. The lady lifts up her hood, and you see a lizard folk. She has very much reptilian features. Can I help you today? What can I get you? Are you interested in my wonderful flowery wares?
Oh, yes, actually, I'm very curious where these are sourced from.
I do some of my own sourcing. I like to go into the south, near Shakul, actually, where Roll me an intelligence check.
5.
A 5. You've never heard of the city of Shakhul, but you think she's talking to some city town southish of here.
Okay.
And the direction, you do remember where the mushrooms are, but...
I may go there to find some of my more common flowers, but you see over here the selection, the more rare, hard to find flowers. Those I get them from Orna's apothecary. Are you interested in purchasing a flower?
Perhaps. What kind of flowers do you have here?
You look and there's various things ranging from your common flowers. There's some mushroom variants as well. The flowers, the ones she said are from Orna's. You actually do not recognize what type of flower they are. They are foreign to you.
For the right amount, I could tell you where to find these.
Maybe. Does she mean like within the city, or does she mean like...
Roll an insight check.
That's a 9 plus
9.
4.
Oh,
So
13.
that's 13.
All right. You think she is probably talking about where to find Orna.
Orna, which is the...
Apothecary lady, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. I would very much like to see that.
What is it worth to you? Coin for knowledge.
Well, perhaps I could spare just maybe 1 silver.
Oh, silver. We do speak that language, yes. So,
You hand her a silver?
I would be like, oh, for such a lovely lady such as yourself or whatever,
Roll me a persuasion check.
13 plus... He should have a lot of charisma, right?
Yeah. Oh, plus 5?
Plus 5,
18.
yeah.
She leans forward
you're a very strong-looking fellow.
and she licks her lips,
That's
eyeballing
probably
you down.
terrifying. That's a little terrifying.
It is a little terrifying, yes.
I will say 5 copper, and I will divulge this information for you.
Oh, well, how about... Let's make it 6 copper, because you've been so lovely.
Oh, you're so flattering, yes.
So you hand her the copper?
Yeah, I'll take
Okay.
this.
You hand her the copper.
You are looking for Orna's apothecary, yes. You will find it on the north side of the city. Look to the ziggurats. Look to the right side. Down near the corner, you will find a very large building. It looks of a mushroom, but
course.
it is not. That is Orna's apothecary. There you will find what you are looking for.
She pulls this elongated mushroom, you don't recognize it, and tucks it into your armor, just right up near the chest, and then pats it.
Have a wonderful day.
Oh, thank you very much, and you have yourself a wonderful day as well.
So, do you head off in the direction?
I am going to head off in that direction, and then I'm going to just be like, what in God's name is this?
Roll me an intelligence check.
I can never tell if it's a 6 or a 9, because a little dot, so let me see. A 9.
9.
With,
you have no idea what kind of mushroom it is.
Yeah.
But don't worry, neither do I. So,
One way to find out, and he eats it. No, I'm just kidding.
roll me a constitution. No.
Okay, I'm not eating that.
You start heading in that direction. You have to cross the river. Now you're traversing over the, for all intents and purposes, Venetian-style part of the city. There are plenty of bridges and there are waterways that go through. You look down, you see fish folk. The city doesn't just end at the water level. It actually goes underneath. And you roll me a perception check.
I feel like I should have this shit memorized by now. What my perception? 15.
15?
Yeah.
So you look down, and beneath you there are tunnelways and tube systems, all looking very carefully crafted to house living creatures. Some of them are in the water, some of them are under the water, but there is life under this river.
That's nuts.
You see small kobolds, actually, and other types of creatures with sort of respirator masks on, and they have little spears, and they're waiting for fish to come by, and then they'll swipe at them to try and get them. There is a whole economy within the city itself just using the river as its environmentalness. Words. Anyway.
That's crazy. Cool though.
And so you keep walking, very much intrigued. There are passerby boats. You see one, it looks like some sort of tour boat, and it's on the center of the city where the river goes. Seems to be more commerce export related, because the center of the river does go out into the bay. It's on the sides of the river, closer to the water, where you see more like inner city business and trade works where they can teleport back to the beginning. And so the trade does change as you go farther into the center and then farther away from the center. As you approach the north side of the river, you do see there's some sort of little barge, and it does have a selection of human children and like a couple goblins and various interesting things that like wouldn't normally be in this environment. And it looks like some sort of tour guide. You think maybe it's some sort of like a school trip or something. And they pass by underneath you as you walk across a bridge. Eventually, you're approaching the north side ziggurat. This one, where you guys were on the south side, it looked very militaristic and very much like a base, a castle structure, a center for government. This one looks like the center for religion and education, where you do see sort of monuments and structures. And even on the river, coming to and from the ziggurat are people in priestly robes and various other educational styles and persuasions. So you take a right and head in the direction that you were given. Eventually you do come across, you see the very top of it above the rooftops down like the streetways. It looks like a very large mushroom. As you approach it, hanging from underneath the mushroom, it does encompass over a number of houses, and hanging from the top of it are all kinds of plants and various agricultural species that look like they're growing and building. There's vines that go up the side of this massive mushroom, and you see on the front of it a doorway, a very simple doorway. You do.
I'm gonna probably go up and just enter the shop.
You enter there. It does. The little doorbell rings exactly like that, and there's all kinds of people inside. It seems to be very busy this time of day, and what you see on the inside are the frog humanoids.
Oh, okay.
A number of them are wearing. They have a very fancy green embroidered vest. It looks like they are the workers that are helping people look around at plants, identify things. There's a staircase that spirals up the center. Some workers are going to and from. You see a customer come down, but it does go up.
Probably look for like a staff member to talk to of some kind, because I'm not gonna know nothing about plants really.
Okay, you do see one of the frog humanoids is Bollywugs. That's what they're called. One of the Bollywugs just finished talking to a customer, and they now look open and alone.
I'm gonna go up and introduce. Oh, hello. Like, good morning.
Good morning.
That's gonna get fun. I'm looking for to get some something special for a friend of mine who has affinity for things that grow.
Something that grows. All right. Well, let's see.
It's really good. But you're gonna start coughing.
No, I'm inhaling when I do that.
So, well, we have all kinds of things. Would you like to follow me over here?
Okay.
So, over here we have poison leech ivy. This will help you against poison.
Oh.
And you see, on the stand, they have, it looks like some sort of little rack lattice, and there's ivy growing on the lattice. But in front of that is a small stand with all these small little vials, and it looks like a ground up paste from the ivy in front of it.
Oh, interesting.
And he said, in case you didn't hear what I was saying, because it was very difficult, poison leech ivy.
Poison leech ivy.
To help with poison, so.
Do you have anything that perhaps could help, like, plants grow, like plant food of any kind?
Oh, yeah, we have all kinds of fertilizers over here. Follow me.
And he pulls you over towards another section. They have a large row of glass jars of all different types of soil.
So, over here, we have soils from all different kinds of the realm.
Do you know what perhaps maybe would work well for petunias?
Petunia, let's see.
And he walks over and looks at the different soils and whatnot. At some point, he grabs, it looks like a pasty white soil, actually. It's very, very different from what you've seen before.
So this is our past soil. We have got this from the Syria. Sorry, it's hard for me to say that.
No worries, no worries.
But I believe this would help you with petunias.
How much does that run for?
That'll be 5 copper for a small jar, and then 2 silver for a large jar.
Now, if you had just one petunia in a planter of sorts, would you use a small amount or a larger amount?
How big is the pot? Wow, that would be a large jar.
Is it really though? Is she lying? Or he? Hey.
Oh, do you want to do an insight check on the server?
Yeah, is that true?
Yeah, roll me an insight check.
Yeah, this person's trying to upsell me. Oh, that's 18. I think it was
18?
What was my insight again? Oh, so that's 22.
Yeah. This frog sounds a little retarded, and like they're being honest.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, all right. Okay, how much for the large jar was it?
A large jar is... Shit, what did I say earlier?
See, you don't even know your prices. You're trying to swindle me.
No, I'm sorry. I believe it's 2 silver.
That's not bad at all. All right, let's add that to the cart.
All right. Can I help you with anything else?
Yes, perhaps maybe. What kind of exotic flowers do you have that could maybe like? And he like kind of scratches his head, like be worth talking to.
If you're looking for exotic flowers, you'll want to go upstairs and speak to Mistress Orna.
Okay, Mistress Orna, thank you. You've been very helpful.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Okay, and I'm gonna move on upstairs.
That was a fun voice. Holy shit! Wow.
Can you imagine if that was a permanent character?
So you start heading up the spiral staircase. As you do, so you bought the jar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or maybe just put it in my cart for now or whatever.
Right.
Like
he holds it off to the side for you as you go up, and they'll bring it to you as you leave. But you head upstairs and you go to the second level, and in the second level it's more of what looks like a very well decorated personal room. There are a few stands with certain types of flowers on them, and then on the other side of the room, sitting on a nice large mat, is a massive frog.
Whoa. Job of the hut. Excuse me, would you happen to be Mistress Orna?
I am Mistress Orna, yeah.
Well, clearly, yeah. I should have known such a lovely looking one as such as yourself.
And I help you today.
Yes, I was looking for some kind of exotic flower of some kind, one that could be appealing to those who have an affinity of communicating with interesting plants of sorts.
I have two very interesting things today, if you want to see them.
Yes, please. Regale me.
Alright, over here, up to this side, we have dragon guano and herb paste. This will help you when you are being in need of some wisdom.
There it is.
This is a good one.
And then on this side, we have the fell flower. If you need to see that, what you normally would not be able to.
What does that mean?
They will both run you about 200 gold.
Whoa. Okay. There's some interesting plants. So one that would help you with your wisdom, and another one that helps with
seeing that which you would normally not.
And that would be perception, maybe help with perception.
Yeah, you're not sure.
Yeah. Is there a way to see if I could use my insight of some kind to see if that's what they mean by that?
Roll me an insight check.
And that was well, that's not gonna go well. It's a 3. So
a 3. Okay. The giant frog sounds very proud of what she is showing you on either side. You do look at them. On the one side, the flowers that she's speaking of, it is a very softly glowing lily-looking flower that is emanating a very small, sparkling essence from it. And there's a few of them in there. And then on the other side, the dragon guano and herb paste that she was just saying, they're in very small little, almost chalices. and they too have a greenish glow to them.
That was the one. That
was the one that will help you with your wisdom, and then the other one will the flowers, the fell flowers that she said on the other side will help you see that which you could not normally.
I'm interested in the fell flowers. What can you tell me any more of these fell flowers?
I grew them in this hut. They take 10 years to grow.
Oh, interesting. How exactly do they help with seeing things that cannot be seen, as you say?
When you ingest them, you can throw your sight out into the world.
Very interesting. Would that even be useful for Inyala, though? Because she can do her familiars and stuff. Of course, you can spot a familiar. This sounds like you can almost see through space and time or whatever. That could be really fun, though. That could also be... I could also see Inyala getting into a lot of trouble with something like that for fun. I'm going to see what they're doing in the other room. Like,
Yeah.
That sounds kind of fun. Okay, yeah. I'm going to probably ask about, like, I'm going to try to haggle them down from 200
Okay, yeah,
gold.
so what do you say?
Like, such a marvelous and intriguing plant of such deserves to be used and explore the world. And I'm a bit of an adventurer myself, and I would be honored to be able to use this flower, and perhaps I could come back one day and regale you of its success. What do you say to maybe a bit of a small discount, as I may be an adventurer, but it's not exactly the most lucrative, and a bit 200 gold is a bit steep for a little dwarf of traveling sorts as my own.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did one? No, no, man. That's not gonna be good. It's a 10 exactly.
A 10 exactly. Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad I put all those points into persuasion right now.
Yeah. She looks at you.
I am sorry, but I don't know you. If you would like to buy a flower and come back sometime, we can talk discounts. Forgive me, it's just business.
I understand. Okay, you drive a hard bargain, but you've been very helpful, so I will, for 200 gold, I will take the fell flowers.
200 gold. All right. That is 200 gold or 10 platinum, whatever you want to pay with, but...
Be easier. We'll do the 10 platinum. So 10 platinum.
I'm sorry, 20 platinum. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. 20 platinum. We'll do that, and then what was the,
And then you got the soil from Syria in a large jar. That was 2 silver.
Alright, I will purchase all that.
So you have gotten yourself a fell flower, and roll me a d6.
That's a 6.
A 6. All right. So Orna, she picks one of the flowers and holds it forward to you. Her hands are massive. Like one of her fingers is the size of your head. She holds out the flower in front of you.
When you ingest a petal, you will be able to see.
She gingerly hands you the flower. You rolled a 6. You will get 6 uses when you ingest a petal of the flower. You get the equivalent of the scrying spell.
Put that down real quick. What was it? What was the scrying?
The scrying spell, which I believe is a 5th level spell. Hold on. This is basically you will have 6 abilities to scry when ingesting this flower.
Interesting. Cool. And then what was the petunia food I got?
You got a white soil from Syria. Syria, not Syria. Syria.
Yeah.
Because pronunciation matters, even though they're both deserts.
Stupid autocorrect. Alright, then I'm going to put that in my travel bag and I'm going to head out.
Alright, so you head away. The frogman gives you the soil as you walk out. He waves goodbye, and I'm not going to talk in that voice anymore. But you are outside of Orna's apothecary shop. Is there anything else that you wish to do?
Well, now that it's a little bit closer to lunchtime, I think I'll just reward myself with an ale or two.
All right. You look around and you do see right down the road is what looks like some sort of tavern. Do you head over to it?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna go take a peek.
You see as you approach, it is called The Last Scale. And it's got a lot of, again, lizard folk creatures. Similar to the other bar, very, very nice upscale. It is right near the ziggurat. So you do see a number of people in their robes going to and from the bar. You think this might be one of the nicer establishments in the city.
Okay. Sounds kind of interesting.
Do you head in?
Yeah, I'm gonna head in.
All right. You head into the bar. Roll me a perception check.
3.
3. Okay. The bar is staffed by a number of, again, bullywugs, frog creatures, and they're walking around. You think they might be very common in this section of the city?
Yeah, clearly.
So there are dragonborn. There are some kobolds. Actually, there's some winged kobolds that you see. There's one up in like the upper loft area who is just sitting up there and drinking some sort of, you don't know what.
I'm gonna see that and be like, oh god, there's ones with wings. Like, think the mother of Grit doesn't have wings. At this point, he still doesn't believe. He doesn't know that Venora was being literal about the fact that Grit's dead. So he actually thinks that Grit's still around. All right, I'm gonna go sit up at the bar, sit at the at the bar, and try to get the barkeep's attention.
There is a jaunty band, a band of Aarakocra, which are the bird humans. They're over there playing, and yeah, you just see them. They're playing their instruments, but they'll have wings, and it's actually a very interesting sight. So
yeah,
that
was cool.
Roll me a history check.
Ha. I don't get to do these very often. Oh, I have no history. Oh, so that's a 9 then. Bummer.
Oh, it was a 9?
It was a 9.
Okay, you've never seen one of these before, so this is your first time seeing one of these creatures. You've heard of them, and you figure this is the place for them. You sit down at the bar. A bullywug comes over. What can I get you today?
Well, let's see. What do you got that's interesting? I'm not from around these parts. I'm looking to try something new.
Oh yeah, we got all kinds of things. And he pulls out a number of drinks. They all seem to be in just regular bottle type things. These are various ales and meads from the Violet Glaive, actually. The Violet Glade. And roll me another history check, actually.
Okay.
I don't know if you know about this place.
19.
19. You've heard of this in legends. This is on the south side of the Troshvale Peaks. You went to Fort Andrich, and you were very close to it, actually. It is the forest of purple and pink mangrove trees that exist along the coastline.
Really?
And you do see they're all tinted purple and pink, the drinks in front of you. These are we call them the Glade Ales, but we get them from that area. They're one of our more popular imports.
That is pretty interesting. I'll have me one of those.
He pours you a glass from one of the more purple tinted ones. That'll be 4 silver, please.
4 silver. No, all right, I'll cough up 4 silver.
More expensive, fancy establishment.
Yeah.
With fancy-ish drinks. Pours you the drink. You taste it. It is a mead with a almost rose flavor to it.
Floral.
Yeah, you've never had a mead like this before, and it's interesting, very different.
Not bad.
Kaldreg doesn't know exactly what to think about it, but you've got a nice purple drink in front of you. So.
I'll drink it, but also kind of like, I want to kind of look around and be like, is anybody else drinking this fruity shit? Like,
you look around, rolling a perception check.
I don't want to be the only one drinking this fruity shit. That's my +1. I made a commitment. Yeah, it's +1. So 15.
15. Okay. There's a number of people drinking various of the pink to purple tinted drinks. You see a lot of them look to be the more scholarly types. This is probably one of those like fancy uppity drinks, like a White Claw or something that, you know.
A White Claw. How do you think that White Claw is like an uppity?
I don't know, man.
Like imagine Imagine you go to like a fancy diner and everybody's just like, I'll have a Merlot. And you're like, I'll have a Pinot Noir. I'd be like, I'll have a White Claw. Lime, please.
Okay, that was a bad example. You're right. I don't speak alcohol, man. This is the hardest part for me right now. Literally, the fucking drink menu is the hardest part every time you guys go somewhere. It's like, I don't fucking...
Because that's where Kaldreg's always going.
I know! Alright, so...
I like it, though. I like the floral mead.
Yeah,
kinda.
it's like... Okay, sorry, it's like a wino drink. There you go. Like the British at 3 in the afternoon with their spot of tea and wine or whatever the fuck they drink.
Quite
indubitably. You look over, and one of the actual it is a white dragonborn is literally holding the glass with their pinky out.
And I'm like, ooh. I'm kind of like.
You have your drink. How long do you sit there and drink?
Not too long. I it's like, yeah, this is kind of a fun one to try or whatever. But I'm like, he's kind of like, now he's got a little alcohol in him. He's got a little bit of spring in his step, and now he's kind of like, oh, we're not going to be here much longer. And Kaldreg likes to do a good little bar hop once in a while. So, and this place is a little snooty for me. Like,
it is a little snooty. Do you continue onward?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, this place was fun, but I'll try one more bar or whatever and look for something a little less.
What direction
snooty.
Do you head? So there's the nest above you. There is the rest of the city that you passed through. The center underside of the city looks to be slightly more ghetto. The nest is like the slums of Rio de Janeiro, very very much built there out of necessity.
Okay, that'd be kind of fun to check out though, just because Kaldreg's more like, I'm like, yeah, the fancy floral shit was neat and all, but 4 silver for a thing that doesn't even get me drunk or whatever was kind of.
Yeah, you're absolutely not drunk, and also roll me a perception check.
14.
14. You look down. Your petunia is slightly purple tinted.
Oh, what the hell? How'd that happen? When did that happen?
You can't talk to it. You don't know.
Yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, which direction are you heading?
I want to head to the more dive bar kind of area. And
more dive bar.
I'm looking to get some actual alcohol or whatever, and not.
Roll me an intelligence check.
Yeah, so that's 9.
9? Okay. You think maybe up top or underwater there might be something?
I can't go underwater and drink. Are you drinking an underwater bar? How do you even get in there?
You saw the city down below. The water.
You get in there.
You don't know. You'd have to ask probably. There is the nest above you. You can check around.
Yeah, I think I'll try. I think I'll check out the nest area.
All right, so you find a ramp walkway system that does lead up. It's very spiderwebby, kind of convoluted. There is no one easy way to get from place to place. Roll me an investigation check.
11.
11. It takes you about half an hour of just walking around and searching, trying to come across something that does not look like a home or a small shop or a street side vendor. Eventually you do, it's actually the smell that gets you. You smell cooking meat.
Oh, I am getting a little peckish.
Yes. And so you keep following your nose to this scent. You keep following your nose, and eventually you do come across what looks to be more of an outdoor eating establishment. There are some tables. It's all very like rickety wood. There's a shop. You see there's a smokestack from not a shop, sorry. There's a smokestack from inside, almost like some sort of restaurant, like some shit you'd find in Louisiana on the street, where you're not in like the fancy section. This is the nest. This is very much lower class and street food. Working class, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of winged kobolds. You do see some more Aarakocra. They're not fancy or anything. They just look like dudes in more shabby clothing. You see some sturges, which are little bird humanoids. You do see little winged rats. Just kind of, they'll fly up and try and snap someone's food, and then they'll like hit them away. birds flying all around, waiting for somebody to drop food. The attendees, the people eating there, are very protective of what they've ordered. And
if only Grit was here, he'd be having a field day. Shooting birds, so.
Right. On the sign that's kind of hanging there, you can kind of read it. It says Stubbs Bar and Grill.
Okay, I like it.
This is you think it might be a bit of a stretch calling it that, but there is meat there. The meat is being heated up and served to people. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm gonna say screw it. I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna see if I can get some lunch and an ale.
All right, you walk up. There is a Aarakocra.
Hello. How can I help you today? Welcome to Stubbs Bar and Grill. My name is Stubbs. I own this facility. What do you want?
Well, you got far more energetic than I was expecting.
Oh, thank you. We have meat, and legs, wings. That might be my cousin over there. Ooh, shit. And meat. What can I get you?
I almost don't even know if I want to ask what kind of meat these are, but...
It's cooked, it's fried, it's warm. Do you want it? It's food. Meat.
Alright, well, you know what they say. Yeah, I suppose I'll get...
Best meat in the nest. Best of the nest, they say. They
I'm like looking around.
But I say that.
Everyone's eating it.
Yeah, alright, well, everybody... Yeah, okay, it seems to be a bit popular. I'll get me a leg of... a hunk?
One. Oh, yes, we have hunks, yes. 1 copper, please.
Jeez. Affordable. Like
Stiff! Grab my hunk!
You see another Aarakocra over. That's gonna peek on the
Is Allie home?
Nope.
Oh, I was expecting her to come, like, peeking around the corner.
The only thing peeking is that audio waveform. And so the other Aarakocra, you see he grabs a basket that looks like a bird's nest, and he just grabs like a handful of different meats and he just shoves them in the basket and he holds his hand up.
This better not make me sick. I'd be like, do you got anything to wash this down with? An ale or two?
Oh, yes, yeah. Drink. You need drink. Hold on. I'll come back and get some.
And he shuffles back to the back.
He's like, get out of my way.
You see, like, there's servers and stuff that are walking around the area. It's like too many cooks. And he goes back to the back. And he comes back and he has a egg that is cracked in half. And he walks very gingerly. You see, like, there's some stuff sloshing out of it. Roll me a perception check.
Is this the dragon piss all over again? 13.
13. You look around. You see various eggs that are all cracked in half. And people around the area, like, if somebody's drinking, it's in a half-cracked egg.
Well.
Of any random sizes. Everything is, like, random. There is no order. There is no set design. Because I
have drink for you.
Yeah, oh, how much for that?
Half a copper.
Make it 1 copper and give me 2.
Oh, okay. Here, take drink.
He just, like, hands it on you. Some of it sloshes out and gets on you.
I'll come back with another drink. Out of the way.
He comes back. He's got another drink.
So I'll take my couple of drinks and my hunks of meat.
Roll me a dexterity check.
Oh, God.
Try and carry all of this.
Uh-oh. Do I have any dexterity? It's probably... No, it's a 7.
7? Okay. You're trying to find a table and you see one. It's a little bit farther away. You have to do a little bit of a walk. And as you walk, your drink that you have in the one hand, you drop it. And the egg hits the ground, shatters. The drink absorbs into the wood and starts dripping down. You hear some what the fuck from underneath. And then you're trying to regain your balance. And as you're doing this, one of the little flying rats comes by and grabs like a small piece of meat from your pile of hunks and then flies off with it.
Ah, you little shit. Where my hands are full.
Your hands are full. Yeah, you don't have enough. But now you have a slightly more free hand now that you just dropped your egg with the 1 drink in it.
Well, all right. Well, it is what it is. So I'm gonna go sit down and.
You look around. Nobody. You think this is probably a common occurrence because nobody flinches at that.
All right. Well, I'll put it down and I'll start having a few bites and sample this egg juice. You know how that is.
So the meat is some sort of. It tastes like chicken. It has been fried. It's not bad. It's pretty greasy. It's like the streetiest of street food.
Yeah.
And the ale is a little watered down, but you do recognize it. This is beer of some sort. Mm-hmm. So
sort of.
You think it might be a little difficult to get drinks up into the nest because liquid is heavy, and so it's not super common to have completely 100% actual alcohol that hasn't been watered down to some extent.
It's watered down. Well, that explains why it's half a copper, though.
But it is food. It is filling. Roll me a Constitution check.
15.
15. You're able to eat 3/4 of the food that you have in front of you. There is some left over, and you look up, and there are just little rats, birds, things. They're just staring at you.
All right, I'm gonna, with my last bit that I couldn't finish, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna throw it up in the air to see what they do.
They swarm for it, and it doesn't even the piece of meat that you threw up doesn't even make it back down to you.
Tear it up.
What does though is one of the dazed rats, as it collides with another creature trying to get to the meat, and it lands right in front of you, and it's like.
I'm gonna laugh, and I'm not gonna go like this. I'm gonna go bonk with my big old meaty dwarf finger.
Roll me a strength check.
The strength of my mighty middle finger. But oh shit, this is gonna be good actually. Let me add my modifiers. It's a 20 then.
That's a 20. All right.
It's 18 plus 2. That's a 20.
Roll me a d4.
Say what?
Roll me a d4.
2.
2? All right. You knock the creature unconscious, and it flies forward, and it hits against an Aarakocra that is sitting right in front of you eating their food.
Oops.
And they turn around.
What the fuck is that? Did you do that?
I'm just gonna shrug and be like,
Is that for me?
And it points at the rat.
I'm just gonna look around. 10 like.
Roll me a deception check.
Shit. 11.
11. The Aarakocra looks at you.
You better fucking watch yourself.
And it grabs the rat on the ground, crushes it, and then sticks it in its mouth and starts chewing on it.
I'm gonna go, okay. And then I'm gonna. That beer was all watered down and weak or whatever.
It was, yeah.
Full. So I'll probably leave this place or whatever and start heading back to where I started from at that tavern area.
Tavern area?
That's why I saw everybody last.
Oh, so. Where everybody came from. All right. You are almost in the middle of the nest. There are any number of ways to get down. You can go down to the middle. You can kind of go across the rest of the nest. Try and make your way over. What do you do?
I don't want to go back the same way I got there, just because I'll see the same stuff or whatever, and it'd be more entertaining and kill more time or whatever, because while everybody's shopping or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll go a different way than I came from.
Okay. You start. Basically, what you're doing is making a giant loop right now.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you start traversing across the nest. Roll me a perception check.
17.
17. Wait. As you are walking, just kind of looking around now and observing your environment, you come across a building that looks a lot like a massive bird's nest. It is. That's the first thing you notice about it. The second thing you notice is that it's not actually connected to any of the structures. There are, aside from the rope wood bridges that allow traversal to it, it's floating there.
Weird.
Do you keep going? Do you investigate further? What do you do?
I'm probably just gonna keep going.
Keep going? All right. You walk around the building, make your way, keep walking. Eventually, you are approaching the other side of the ziggurat. The closer you get to the south side, the more it becomes less building structure and just more rope, lattice, wood attachments to hold things up. You start to think this is about as far as you can travel on the top of the nest, and you think you want to get down. You do see a number of walkways. You start heading down. Roll me an investigation check to see if you can. Sorry, actually, survival check, because that's supposed to be for navigation.
17 then.
17. All right. You are able to notice the tavern, especially when you have the view from above in the nest, and you start making your way, keeping a mental note of where it is as you go down the ladders. Eventually you get to the base of the city. You start traveling through the roads again. It's a good portion of the day has passed at this point, and you do make it back to the tavern. So you see Tor is sitting out by the cart. He's just standing there. You don't see anybody else around you yet.
All right. Well, then I guess I'll go back in the tavern or whatever and see if anybody else has made it back yet.
You walk back into the tavern. Sendra is sitting there in the tavern. None of the other members of your party are back yet.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to Sendra and be like, okay, good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon. Did you have a eventful, productive day?
You could say that. It's certainly an interesting city.
Oh yes. This place is certainly unique.
Yeah, certainly unique. Where is everybody else?
As far as I know, Vignora is off at an armory shop right now. She went to go look at just sort of... I think she was looking for some sort of breastplate or something. I'm not sure, but she headed off that way. I was with her earlier. We went and stopped at this magic shop. I have not seen anybody else recently.
I suppose we could kill some time then. Would you like to have a drink with me?
Sure.
All right, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
We'll get like a... Is there like we get like a booth or something instead of sitting at the bar?
There are a number of booths. Roll me a perception check. 14. You see off in the corner near the stairwell to get up to the rooms, there is an empty booth.
I gesture to the booth or whatever and we'll go sit in it.
Absolutely. She heads over to the booth.
See if we can get a drink or two or whatever.
One of the servers walks over.
Oh, yes, what can I help you today?
It's
I'm gonna say 2 dragon's piss.
Oh, 2 dragon's piss. All right, we'll be right back with those.
He walks away. Sendra sits down. So, care to tell me about your day? What were you up to today? Did you have fun?
Oh, yeah, I always have a good time. It's been about 50 years since I've been here last.
Oh, you've been here before.
Oh, of course, I've been many years I've been around. I've explored quite a bit. This place sure has changed a bit. Well, some things always stay the same, but you know.
That's older than I'm even. I've been here once. I would say a long time ago, but 50 years, that's quite a difference. What was it like 50 years ago?
Well, most of it was about the same. Some of the waterways have improved quite a bit. There's a lot more of the bird of infinity quite now, but
Oh, yes. We
this area is something new that I explored today.
Yeah, Vignora and I actually stopped at this shop. It was a giant's bird's nest. Very, very interesting. It had a harpy inside, and Vignora got some diamonds, actually.
Oh. So she did get her diamonds then.
She got her diamonds. She went off to the shop. She is very insistent, though, to bring back Emery.
What are your thoughts on that matter, by the way?
I've seen it done once before. We had a friend that they passed away on one of our old missions, and we brought them back to our guild hall. They knew of a cleric. This is in Kaldreg, and they performed a ritual and did bring him back to life. He had been passed for 2 days at that point.
Not much different than our little Emery.
I would say this was a very experienced cleric, and our other friend was not in such bad shape as Emery is. So,
yes,
I'm going to be honest. I do miss my friend, and I'm hopeful that Vignora knows what she's doing. I believe I heard you say you had some reservations about this.
Well, perhaps it's perhaps it's more of a dwarven superstition. It's Emery's part of your party, part of your friends. It's not my decision to make.
I'm always curious to know things. What are these superstitions you speak of?
Well, back in my youth, I was part of a priesthood where I got into my paladin ways. We believed in the mother of my... I still believe that when those that are good of heart as they pass, they enter into Maya, who is the mother of all beings in this realm.
I've heard of her.
And to return back to her warmth and her nurturing is a gift. And to be ripped away from it, to be brought back to this mortal coil is, well...
I can't speak from experience.
Those are my beliefs.
But I did speak with my friend, and it was very interesting what they said. As the time had passed when he was dead, so to speak. For him, it wasn't 2 days as it was for us. It was but a moment. He described only darkness, and then a white thread that he grasped onto, and I'm only speaking from his recollection, so I've actually I've never died. But
Clearly, you look good.
thank you, I appreciate it. But to him, he wanted to come back, and I suppose I can only hope that Emery wants to come back. I don't know how he feels. That's selfish of me, because I want to see him again. If he's in a better place and he doesn't want to come back, that's his choice, and honestly, there's nothing I can do about it, and I will honor it. But
Yes, well, who's to say? Maybe whatever the ritual is, perhaps it's more like just holding the door for them. If they don't want to come back, then they won't come back. But at least we can give Emery the option.
I would say that's a good way to think about it. Speaking from the experience that I have, which is none, of course. I've only ever seen it done.
By now, I imagine our drinks have come to the table.
Yes, the midway during that conversation, the server did bring the drinks. I do always love tavern
band
music.
at the other one.
Oh, you went to another establishment. Did they have?
Hey.
Were they playing?
Yes, I've been to a few today, actually.
Oh, two. All right. Tell me about your adventures, and then, if you're interested, I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear your story, and tell you mine if you so choose. But what?
I suppose. Well, let's see. I started the day. I went and got a little bit of and he's kind of like embarrassed a little bit. Like he blushes a little bit. He's like, a little bit of like some flowers for Inyala.
Really?
Yeah, and they quickly tries to like segue past it. Like, yeah. Anyway, so then
Hold on. As a girl, I know you look embarrassed. I can tell.
I'm not. It's
Now-
warm in here. And the ale, it makes my
roll me a deception
frozen.
check
Fuck.
against her insight.
It's
You better roll good, bitch.
it's a 3.
Oh no, she rolled a 19. She can tell. You're adorable. I love it.
But it's not what you think. It's not that like that.
Oh,
It's not like that.
don't worry. Your secret's safe with me. And
It's not. He like pounds his tape. It's not a secret.
she's sitting there laughing at you. Well, here's
trouble.
Here's the thing. I'm sure, as whatever gesture you're intending it, she will appreciate it.
Yeah,
Especially because
it's-
she does like the plants.
Look, it's useful. It's a useful flower. It's a tactical. It's a strategic. I need another ale.
The waiter comes over.
Yes, what do you want another one?
I'm gonna be like, I need something. Let me get something stronger than this dragon's piss.
1 moment, please.
And he goes back. He brings over a bottle, and it is a dark red fluid.
This is scalded wine. We brew it here on the Scald River. It's a lot more
Well, you know
powerful
what
than
they
that.
say. Beer before wine, and you'll be fine. That's what they say.
All right, that'll be one silver.
Yes, I'll have one of those.
Can I get one too, actually? These are on me. I got it.
Are you sure?
Yes, you paid for the last drink, so I'll take this.
All right.
Listen, conversation's worth it.
I suppose so. All
She
right, so as we
Pulls out
have
two
that,
sword.
and I have a
Do you
sip
mind
of
if I
this
take
or
a look at
whatever.
that flower?
Oh yeah. So I got my bag here, and I kind of like opened it up and gently put it on the table with us.
She takes a look at the flower. This is wow. This is impressive. I'm not. I can't tell exactly what this does, but it gives off a very powerful essence. So this is a good find.
Yeah, it's supposed to help with like I don't know, seeing or something.
Seeing.
They said
Like visions?
something like that. I don't know. And Yala's better with this stuff than I am. I figured she'd figure it out.
I'm sure she'll enjoy it.
Hope so.
So you got flowers.
Yes. Moving on. I went and tried a couple of taverns. The first one was kind of expensive with uppity floral drinks. Not quite my style, so I did get out to that nest area, as you mentioned. I probably almost crossed paths with Venura at some point, but I never did see her.
Oh, the magic shop.
Well, I didn't go to the magic shop so much as I went to a bit of a bar and grill, if you can call it that.
She's rolling shit for her recollection. She's not. Oh yes, I've not really been. Well, actually, this is my first time going up to the nest. I didn't know they did food up there.
Well, it was food. I mean,
Technically speaking,
it was technically food.
technically food.
And I
the
haven't-
best kind.
I haven't grown up yet, so yeah.
You're
I've had
still
worse.
alive, and that's what counts.
I've had worse.
So you went,
Yeah, the ales were more water than ale, so I didn't stick around there for long.
Ah, yes. I would say probably best to get food on, ground level. But you found some. That's impressive.
Oh, gotta try things out when you're almost 200 years old. You don't want to always try the same things over and over again.
I do suppose an adventure. I love adventure. That's one thing I've always strived for.
I suppose you do. You're in the right profession for it.
Oh yes, no, I've been many places.
Tell me some of these places you've been. These places, all of you have been. Tor and Embry is a lot.
I did. Let's see. So I'm originally from Riverfell. My family they had a position of governance in the city, and my parents they raised me there. Eventually, I went to a school up in Silica, where I trained in the profession that I have now of sorcery and the arcane arts. So I've been to the eastern and northern sides of the continent quite a bit. I've gone down to the various islands where the Fae are, the elven kind, yes.
Leaf lovers.
The leaf lovers, yes. they're nice. They're okay.
Yeah, they're all right.
The northern. Have you heard of Jari, the island? Roll me
Have I?
an history check.
That's a nat 20, baby.
Natural 20. You have heard of Jari. Let me pull up the actual lore for the regions. Seraph Island is what it's called. Jari being the capital of Seraph Island. That is on the top left side of the map. This is where it is a jungle mountain region where wood elves largely come from, versus Eve Island, south of it, which is where the species of high elf, the more snooty, racist elves, come from. Between them is the Broken Isles, and you're familiar with all of these regions as you've lived long enough. You've not been there, as you've never wanted to go there, as it's full of elves. But if you were forced to have to choose to ever go to one of them, you would want to go to the northern island where the wood elves are, because at least they're nicer.
Yeah, well, they're cooler.
Yes, I've been to Jari and the island itself. I like to travel around a lot. Went down to Isle of Eve. That place is all right. Valaris is cool. They're a little bit more welcoming of people that are not elven. The rest of the island is kind of bitches. At some point, my parents did go to Paradise Oasis, which you've heard of that place. It is in the Nara Desert, just next to the wastes. My parents do live there now. They're in retirement at this point. So let's see. From there, I've traveled to visit them. I've been to Far Reach City. It was from Far Reach City when I was traveling about 8 years ago, where I actually met Tor on a convoy from the city to Seeker's Pass. We were headed back to Paradise Oaks, and it was weird actually. Tor walked out from the wastes by himself, alone, and I asked him about it later, and he doesn't like to talk a lot about the time before he met me, but according to him, he did not think there was actually a world beyond where he was from. He did not know that people existed, and we actually did not get along when we first met. That was when our convoy was attacked by slavers. The only reason I made it out was because of Tor. He pulled me from that fight. If he hadn't, I would not be here. I would probably be in someone's bed right now. I have a lot to thank him for. He got me across the desert all the way to Paradise Oaks, and earned the respect of my father. Actually, he's not too kind to the more demonic races. But he makes an exception for Tor, as he saved my life.
I could understand that.
Yes. and Tor, I love him. He didn't grow up around people. He didn't know people existed outside of... Have you heard of the Grey Waters? Roll me a history check.
That is a 19 plus 1, so that's 20.
Okay. You know of this place. The Grey Waters is a small settlement. You've heard of it, and you've never been there, and you don't want to ever go there. It is on the opposite side of the wastes. There is no trade to and from it. The only reason that people know it exists is because they have seen it or heard of it, or somebody has told stories of it. It is a small settlement just north of the Barrens of the Fall, and you're a paladin. Roll me a history check.
I literally actually just rolled the same exact thing, a 19 plus 1.
Okay, a 19. So, the Barrens of the Fall, and you have heard about this in the legends and stories. It is a desolate, destroyed wasteland where some cataclysmic event happened many hundreds or thousands of years ago. Nobody knows when it happened, people know to stay away from it and to keep out of that region, as it is a dark place. Ships that go there do not return. The waters are filled with jagged spires and spikes.
Oh, yes.
The best way to describe it is the Ashlands from Valheim.
Okay, yeah.
Minus all of the lava, it is a cold, dark place. But the environment is very similar, where large, jagged spikes of earth that should not normally be like that. This earth has been destroyed and desecrated by something.
Interesting.
But the Grey Waters is the only close establishment that exists in that very small channel. In sight of it, you can barely see the Barrens of the Fall from the Grey Waters, and you only know of this from stories and legends that they have taught when you were in the sect.
Yeah.
The history of religion. Nobody knows what happened. People know of it though.
Interesting.
And not Sarnova, sorry.
Wrong universe.
No, the character that Tor is based on, Tor, came from there, the Grey Waters. So.
Well, that is an interesting story.
Yes. So it would be. I'm sure he has very interesting stories to tell of his time there. He does not like to talk about it. That was 8 years ago. Since then, I met him, and we were the first two of our group. Eventually, we came across Emery, a few others, and we settled in Kaldreg.
Is that that's the rest of your crew? What did you call them? The Deus Ex Valora?
Deus Ex Valoris. Yes.
Valoris. That's it.
Yeah, we're a fun bunch.
A fun bunch. If you.
Yes.
So I suppose we're on our way there. I was thinking we get there by ship. Maybe it would be the fastest way.
I do agree. I am kind of sick of that cart. It's been
it's been a useful cart, but
it's been a useful cart for the last few days. We've been in it for about 3 months, so I'm ready to be done with it.
Yeah, let's look into getting some ship transport.
I will settle for a ship. I'm not the biggest fan of ships. I do get seasick from time to time, but I will settle for a ship if it shortens the journey from 3 months to probably 2 weeks, I think.
You know what the key to not getting seasick is?
What's that?
Being closer to the ship.
Being closer to the ship?
Like
the bottom of the ship?
Like, no, as in like not being as tall.
Oh, I see where you're at with that.
So at this point, he's finished his wine or whatever, and he'd be like, let's do another round or whatever. The next one's on me.
All right. The server comes back. He pours you more. Do you get more of that wine?
Yeah, I'll do another one
on
red wine.
He pours you some more. So, that's my story. What's yours?
Well, there's not too much to tell.
You're 100 and what?
170 something.
170 something years old. You've got to have some stories.
I lost count.
Oh wow.
And that's when he's gonna kind of like look around or whatever, just because now he's thinking about like other dwarves and stuff, and make sure there's no dwarves in the tavern yet.
Roll me a perception check.
Nat 20.
Natural 20. Okay. As you were talking, you see this one crotchety, old, homeless-looking dwarf. He walked in. He's got a bowl of some sort of gruel soup, and he walked up to the counter, and he sat there, and looks like he handed a copper coin to the bar guy, and he's waiting with his gruel.
So like he sees him, but he's gonna kind of just like turn like a little bit away from him like this or whatever, and just kind of like, oh, I'm looking over here now.
Roll me a stealth check to see how well you are able to avoid attention.
Yeah, no, I never do real good on these. I think it was a 4, and I don't think I have any additives for that one.
A 4.
No, it's a 4.
Okay. At some point, he rolled low, but you rolled lower. What's the
classic Kaldreg.
Classic Kaldreg. He does glance over and see you, and you see him like he mutters like, and then like he stares back. At that point, the server brings him his bowl of gruel, and he seems honestly more interested in his food.
Yeah, I bet. So anyway, I kind of like turn back to Sendra. I'm just like, well, let's see.
God damn it, Cat! I'm trying to roll things. Oh no, she does not notice this interaction. She rolled a 3.
So I'm gonna be like, well, let's see. When I was more of a wee lad, my family thought they could, like many others, go out to the Platinum Hills. Are you familiar with them?
Is she?
Platinum Ridge.
I I think I've heard of it. Is this in the north?
Yes, it's up in the north.
All right.
It's the Platinum Ridge isn't exactly welcoming of outsiders. It's a well-known myth perhaps that it's rich with precious minerals and gemstones and vast quantities of riches to be made there, but nobody was ever too successful. Very few people ever come back in one piece.
So it's a mining town, or
it's near some city, near the city and stuff, but the only true inhabitants of the Platinum Ridge are of the less savory kind.
Oh, see if she can intuit what you're saying. God damn, I cannot fucking roll tonight.
Sendra's had too much to drink.
Sendra has had too much to drink. So you lived at the Platinum Ridge, or you traveled there when you were a small child?
Well, more of a when I was a small child with my folks, we set out with some other similar families, and we thought we could start a bit of a temporary mining company to at least try to fill our bags, fill some wagons and some carts, and bring them back home and, rest our laurels on our newfound wealth. But,
right.
Well, our presence didn't go unnoticed, and a large party of goblins and whatnot descended upon us. They came in like an avalanche, really. Everybody who tried to stand their ground was cut down.
Your family?
I was the only one who made it out, only because I scrambled over to a makeshift chimney being used by the smelters. It was fortunately still cold because it hadn't been fired up, but I climbed inside of it, almost nearly getting myself stuck in there, and I hid for 2 days.
Is this why you didn't want to go in the tree log?
I don't certainly like the feeling of being constrained.
I understand.
Yeah.
Can't say I have ever had the same experience, but I've not really had. I'll say I've had a very graciously blessed life, and I've not had to deal with a lot of loss. That's why, Emery's hitting me hard, but I'm sorry for your family.
It was a long time ago when I was a young lad. I was fortunate enough that after 2 days, the priesthood from the nearby town came in, and the goblins they seemed to have knew them, because as soon as they started descending on them, the goblins fled. The little cowards they are.
Not a fan.
I weaseled my way out of the chimney, and they surprised the heck out of them.
You spent 2 days in a chimney.
Yeah, 2 days.
My God.
Only reason I was able to stay in it is because I locked my legs and my bones against the chimney and just sat there. And
is that why you're so short? Sorry.
You got jokes. Jokes.
I have a joke a time or two. Yes.
I'll let that one slide.
Next round's on me. How about that?
Fair enough. So I joined the priesthood as I had nowhere else to go. That was the priesthood of Maya, the one I mentioned before.
Right.
They taught me their ways. They took me in, and I repaid their kindness with my loyalty. But as the years go on, as the decades went on, I became a man. Many others, well, maybe not many others, but others tried to do the same folly as my family tried to head out to the Platinum Ridge.
Oh.
Yeah, very few had any success at all, and nobody ever came back without loss. But one day,
why do they keep going? You'd think that the stories would be enough to dissuade people, but
the temptation of greed is just too strong for a dwarf.
Ah.
But one day there was a certain entrepreneur, one who had descended on the ridge and came back with a very successful haul and had no problems with the locals, which I was suspicious, but perhaps just pure dumb luck. Except that it kept happening, and it kept dragging more and more dwarves out there to try their hands. And suddenly, what used to be 1 or 2 companies every decade or so was suddenly turning into a dozen companies a month trying it. Suddenly, everybody thought they could get their riches off the Platinum Ridge for the first time.
And did people return?
Somehow Gostrid. Well,
he was the entrepreneur.
He was the entrepreneur, Gostrid. Somehow Gostrid his company always did well. No problems. No interactions with the goblins or nothing. But somehow the other groups were always devastated, never heard from again.
I'm not gonna lie, that does sound suspicious right off the bat.
Well, we certainly thought so too, so we had to discover what was Gostred's strategy that was giving him such great success. And he clearly wasn't keen on the idea of having the priesthood accompany him, but
you went with him?
Luckily it wasn't up to him, so we went along with him. Everything seemed to be going smooth for a little while until I think his luck must have run out, because a large band of goblins, but not just goblins, but also hobgoblins and a cave troll or two, almost like a war band rather than a makeshift group of thieves like they used to be. This was more organized. They descended on us. We were completely encircled by them our second day on the ridge.
How long ago was this?
This would probably be about 80 years ago.
80
years. 60 to 80 years ago.
Right. I've heard of organized raid parties. Emery, he lost his parents in his village, all but him and his grandma, to one of those. So that was not 80 years ago. That was much more recently. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, ultimately, old Gostred's luck ran out that day. One of the hobgoblins stood out from the rest. He had a crown of makeshift bones, some kind of leader of theirs, which I suppose isn't impossible, but the idea of such creatures actually becoming together, organized.
Yes, that's strange to me.
Well, the strangest part was yet to happen, actually, because it spoke to old Gostred before he had met his end.
And you understood?
Yes, it said in Undercommon, actually. It spoke and it said that they had a deal. Somehow it knew Gostred, and I never got to the answer to that before it dropped its mighty hammer down on Gostred's old head.
He was betraying you guys.
Something like that. Dwarves always seem to let their greed get the best of them.
I'm sorry to hear that this is a reoccurring theme for you.
Hey, well, it is what it is, but unfortunately I only barely scraped my way out of there and avoided the goblin search parties as I made it back to town. And whenever I tried to spread the truth of what had happened, all they could hear was that their precious Gostred, their precious celebrity of cult of personality had been slain. The only thing that had changed was that we were there with the priesthood, with the sect. They blamed the sect, saying it was bad luck, saying it was a curse.
What was this? Oh, she doesn't know. Damn it! What was the sect?
The sect of Maya.
The sect of Maya.
My priesthood.
I'm sorry. I know of a number of religious orders of the dwarves in Duncraig, but I've never heard of the sect of Maya.
Well, that's mainly because all the priests that were with us that day, none of them survived, and those that were still back at the town started to fizzle out after that. People would throw things at them. They would throw rotten vegetables at them. Nobody supported the priesthood after that. They blamed them for all of their loss. They blamed them for the loss of Gostred and for all of their mining companies that failed that day on the Platinum Ridge. Are
you the last of your order?
I very might well be. I might be the only true believer still left out there.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and damn if I didn't try. I should have given up sooner, though. I was the only one for decades that still tried to spread the truth, but the more I shouted, the more they would just remember me for the one who got Gostred killed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you saying you're being blamed for everything that happened?
No, well, it's just easy. It's easier for the dwarves to put the blame on somebody. They, you know.
Is Kaldreg wearing garb of the sect?
Yeah, I would say he has like
Is it on display?
Yeah, he still displays it.
Okay. Is that your symbol there on your chest?
Oh, the tavern. The
tavern keep comes by with another drink.
Oh yes.
And this time they bring some green eggs and ham.
Oh yes, thank you for the green eggs and ham.
And then the tavern keep, for some reason, gives you a kiss on the forehead.
Is that not customary here?
That must be a lizard folk thing.
Oh, very good. The lusty Aragonian.
Thank you for your patronage.
But yes, this is my. I might be the only one in the world who still wears.
The last one with that emblem.
Yes.
I believe in my studies I have heard of Maya. I have not seen active practicing for the worship of her. I guess that explains why.
Yes, well, it used to be a more important deity to the dwarves, but now it's just muddled in this
Agreed.
this folklore story of a curse that descended on their precious celebrity of sorts.
So you could say you're a legend, but not a good one.
Yes, no, I am the wrong kind of legend, it would seem.
As part of our band, we actually have a pair of dwarven brothers. I wonder if they've heard of you. Honestly.
Well, hopefully not.
They're a good bunch. I'll say that. And honestly, we'd love for you to meet them. I know you're not, most social of type, but I think we have a good, talk sometime. Just visiting. But
Well, fair enough.
have you heard of the name Cold Steel? Roll me a history check.
7.
7?
I just have trouble reading the 6s on this thing.
So you're not familiar specifically with the family name Cold Steel. You figure it's one of the dwarven families that lives in Doncraig. There's a lot of dwarves just because one dwarf doesn't mean you know them all. So
Yeah.
Crash and Hammond they're part of the group. They're a fun bunch. In fact, actually, Crash is a big part of the reason that we actually settled in Doncraig. He's got a forge there.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're one of the good ones.
From my personal experience with them, they're quite fun. Crash is a little autistic, a little touched, but he's a good blacksmith.
Usually the best ones are autistic.
Yes.
That's how you know it's good.
But yeah, he's fun. I'd love for you to meet him if you choose to go with us to Doncraig.
Well, I promised Tor that I would, but after we reach Doncraig and I speak to your council about the beasties that we spotted, or that I spotted rather, I don't know. I don't know if I'll be around. I think that's a bit enough adventuring for a nearly 200-year-old dwarf.
Well, I appreciate you coming this far with us. You've done way more than asked of. If you don't mind me asking, I know you mentioned them on the cart ride up, but you were sparse in the details. What did you see back there as we were leaving?
Well, a couple more of those beasts similar to the first one we slain, though the one was even bigger, a larger one with 5 eyes instead of the 3 like the one we had saw.
Right.
And a smaller one that almost hung onto the larger one, but only had 2 eyes. But all of a similar, almost make, a similar arachnid-like make of them.
All monstrosities.
Yes, and they spoke to each other, actually.
They spoke.
I did, and I could understand them.
The one we fought didn't. So there is an intelligence behind these creatures, is what you're saying.
Aye, that is what I fear.
That's very bad news, and probably the most telling thing. If there is a threat of this caliber, the council will want to know about it. Hopefully, it will allow us to acquire more resources in hunting them down.
Yes. They mentioned a name, by the way.
A name?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Have you ever heard the name Sithika, by the way?
Alright. She rolled really well. If memory serves me correctly, Sithika is a very well-known blood witch from the Mire. And now that you mention that name, I have a feeling that cabin you guys burned belonged to that blood witch.
Oops. Bet she didn't like that.
But they mentioned the name Sithika.
They did. They said something like, it shouldn't have been there. I think they were talking about the one that we had killed.
So you're saying they were looking for her?
It seems it. It seems they didn't know where their companion was, or didn't have control of it or something, as if there was something different about that one.
All of this is good knowledge that hopefully we can use to our advantage. But, alright. None of this makes me feel good.
Yeah, well, it doesn't get any better.
That's true.
This
business.
The smaller one, just as I had ran back to the group, it almost seemed to have vanished in thin air, just as it said it was going to search the area.
Search the area. Are you saying that it was looking technically for us, but looking?
Well, it was looking for what killed it, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah, it seems to have pretty interesting abilities.
Okay. It vanished into thin air. I didn't see anything approach as we were leaving the creature, so did it apparate or teleport or something? Is there something I'm missing?
That's what it seemed like to me. One moment there was nothing there, and then suddenly...
And the creature that we fought, I suppose Sithika, if that's what it is, couldn't do that. I can't imagine something that can move around like that. That is, disconcerting.
Well, pretty fortunate that we had that wizard of ours.
Yes, that was... It makes me a little jealous, seeing that level of arcane display. And curious, because honestly, I'm not sure how he pulled something like that off.
I was going to mention the same thing. I didn't expect such a potent ability.
Very... It doesn't seem to match with what we've seen him up to this point do. It makes me very optimistically wary, I suppose. He doesn't seem like a bad person, but...
No, he seems alright to me.
For him to pull on that sort of power...
Well, I'm glad he's on our side.
You know what? Yes, that's true. I'll drink to that.
Let's put it that way.
With that, was there anything else that you wanted to talk to Sendra about?
No. I think we'll pretty much wrap it up there.
Are you just gonna basically... Is Kaldreg going to wait around for the rest of the group to show up as you and Sendra sit there and talk?
Yeah.
All right. That will close our mini session. Good job.
Hooray.